Hello, good evening, and welcome back. So in the aftermath of the London Bridge stabbing, there's of course been much talk about him in particular, given his ideological persuasion and what allowed him to get out of jail due to his terrorist charges. However, let's not think that stabbing in London is an uncommon occurrence. As we see from The Guardian of all places, drill rapper among 3 London stabbing deaths in 12 hours. Yes, apparently the attacks were unrelated, with one involving a suspected robbery near Harrods in Knightsbridge. So, as we have seen with America and the inner city areas where gangster rap and thug culture is idolised, then of course people take what is spoken in art and then life imitates art, where this kind of lifestyle is then perpetuated and perpetrated by the individuals, thus resulting in gang warfare and many deaths being the result. As I say, it's not the gun that kills the person, it's the person behind the gun. The same thing here, it is not the knife that kills people, it is the person behind the knife. So when you have the same culture coming over here into London, idolising the same sorts of things, London saw historically with the Kray twins, then you have a situation which is rearing its ugly head yet again in what should be a civilised society. So, a member of the South London drill group Harlem Spartans has become the 3rd young man to be stabbed to death in the capital in a little over 12 hours. Yes, not just stabbed, but actually stabbed to death. Crossland Davis, 20, also known by his rap name Biz, was the 2nd Harlem Spartans member to be stabbed to death. He used to perform alongside Latwan Griffiths, who was murdered in August 2018 at the age of 18. Davis, 20, was pronounced dead just after 3:30 a.m. on Friday in Deptford, southeast London, about 12.5 hours after Exhaust and Gimby. 22, was killed in an unrelated attack in Hackney, East London. A 3rd unnamed man, 26, was knifed to death in a suspected robbery near Harrods and Knightsbridge, West London, as he made his way home from a restaurant just after midnight. He was found unconscious with a stab wound to the back. Not as if he was fighting this guy off, then, is it? As in historical English accounts, that if they died a coward or a hero by whether the stab wounds are to the front or the back. What it means in this instance is that this man doesn't seem to be causing a threat. If he was had his back to the perpetrator, it suggests then that he was either running away or face down, so he wasn't a threat to the man, who then decided to stab him anyway. And yes, I do presume it was a man who stabbed him. Another man was knifed in the same attack, believed to have been carried out by 2 males attempting a robbery. He remains in hospital, where his injuries are described as not life-threatening. So, seeing as we no longer have the high-trust society that we had before, and now that stop and search has also been stopped, and now we're searching for the answers of what to do, we see that knife crime is on the rise yet again, the highest last year since 2008, before Boris Johnson came in, of course. And there were many graphs to show, as I've shown before, the knife crime, the stabbings, the deaths by knife, decreasing during the stop and search time, because although it isn't a very British thing, London isn't a very British city either. Therefore, we need non-British solutions to non-British problems. And as people wish to assimilate and be civilised and get on with each other and take their anger out in more civilised, agreed upon ways, then we're going to have non-British solutions. Harlem Spartans, who regularly rapped about violence and knifings, have achieved prominence with Davis's latest song, attracting close to 1 million views on YouTube. They were championed by Tim Westwood when they performed on their former Radio 1 DJ's YouTube channel in 2017. So yes, they regularly rapped about violence and knifings, and therefore of course they were inculcated in that lifestyle, whether by choice or just because they were chasing the money and that was what was popular at the time, or still is, as this is quite contemporary. Then yes, this is the result that they are left with. If they talk about something, then it tends to happen. Speaking their truth into the world, if you will, like Charles with them. England footballer Jadon Sancho, 19, led tributes online to Davis, tweeting, "Rest up, Biz." So, if we just read on, they say the killings were not linked to one another. She added, Commander Jane Connors, "Each of these attacks is a tragedy, not just for the victims and their families, but for the wider communities who are left reeling by the senseless violence. Our highly experienced teams of investigators are working relentlessly to determine exactly what happened and bring those responsible to justice." There seems to be a few too many for them to actually prosecute. Enough of them, though, doesn't there? They're not a big enough deterrent. So, over the weekend, residents will see more officers on patrol in the areas where these murders took place, as well as other parts of London. This highly visible policing presence will include officers from our reserve units and armed units. Yes, it'll mirror even more, living under a military rule, essentially, where you have armed guards patrolling around for apparently the safety of the civilians. So you are hoping that the bad man with a knife will be stopped by a good man with a gun. That is exactly what they are hoping for here, that there will actually be enough police in order to prevent everybody. And if that is not a police state, then I don't know what is. Last year, there were 141 police recorded homicides in the capital, the highest in a calendar year since 2008, according to Home Office statistics. And yes, this is even being reported by The Guardian of all places. Speaking about the investigation into the Knightsbridge attack, Harrods, Chief Inspector Andy Partridge said, "It appears that the victims were going home, having just attended a nearby restaurant. They were approached by two males on Basil Street at the junction with Pavilion Road. It was here that the two male suspects confronted the victims. Although at an early stage we believe the victims were approached in order to steal property from them and were attacked during that encounter." So as we can see, this is a definite growing problem, and the defence capabilities that people have in the UK are also decreasing, kind of inversely proportional, if you will. That it is not legal for the UK citizens for us to aptly defend ourselves. No, because you cannot carry a weapon if you intend to use it, but you can grab something if it is nearby. For example, a gentleman in London grabbing the narwhal tusk in order to try and fend off an attacker, the same without a fire extinguisher. Same goes there. So you have to have something with you that is not meant for defence but can be used for defence. You can't even have extendable batons, whether that counts as a GoPro stick, that's up to you. You can't have a weight on the end of a rope, if that includes a yo-yo, again, that's up to you. You can't have knuckle dusters, if that includes just rings on all of your fingers, then again, that's up to you. But, of course, you can have canes, providing that there isn't a sword inside of them. You can have so-called unbreakable umbrellas as well, if you wish, and you can have very heavy, hefty flashlights or torches, if you wish. That is essentially all you can have, or flasks, like metal, steel, stainless steel flasks and water bottles. That is essentially all you can have to try and protect yourself. And then maybe leather jacket, some sort of body armor, braces, motorcycle clothing, that kind of thing to try and prevent stabbings. That is about what you can do. So you'd have to really dress up and then bring your umbrella out as well and your flask water bottle. You'd have to look very put together. The reason being, of course, that that's just to prevent people from attacking you. Or if they do, because then you look like a more high-value target, you can defend yourself from them. So I would suggest that is the way to go, and of course, learning some sort of self-defense or martial arts skills in order to know how to use those weapons if you do use them. But the best thing, of course, is to just be able to run away. Maybe having the police on speed dial as well, that will help. As Tim Pool has mentioned, that the rates of death on the streets have decreased because people have been able to call for help immediately, and so the same goes there. Just have a way in order to contact the police as soon as possible, because they do not offer that to the public to just press a button. If you feel unsafe, that's a shame. You just you can't go outside, basically. That's the police response to you. If you're concerned about what has happened to your local community and you no longer feel safe and would like to have some sort of protection, just stay inside. That was their advice to me when I spoke to them in person. Brilliant. So, as always, let me know what you guys think down below. Have I missed anything in terms of what can be done for self-defense? Obviously, we can't rely on the government to sort out this problem, even though I would say the only role of the government is defense. So that's laws and borders, that's army and police, that is the only role they have, and yet they can't even do that, in which case it is down to us to defend ourselves. Of course, we do have to follow the law, because otherwise you would take out a weapon in order to just defend yourself, and you might carry it out 1,000 times before somebody does stop you and then imprisons you for carrying that weapon, whereas somebody who wishes to use it would probably only take it out once and would not get caught with it. So again, it is bad for the people who are trying to defend themselves, so we have to find a way around it that is law-abiding. So any suggestions are much appreciated. Do please put them down in the comments. Always happy to read what you guys have to say, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time, have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you next time.